Dangerous signs in relationships are not always easy to recognize immediately, but if you look at them correctly, these signals become clear. Like a warning you can't ignore, let me help you recognize them, because these things not only affect your emotions, but can also ruin your life in the long run. Surely you don't want to suffer from pain or live a confused life just because you didn't recognize the early signals. Throughout my journey of building my companies, I've faced countless challenges. However, there is one important lesson I've learned. You must know how to distinguish between what can help you progress and what will pull you back. And the same goes for relationships. The small signs that you ignore are potential dangers. They can destroy your confidence, mental health, and even your personal growth capacity. Perhaps you don't realize it, but the words and actions of a man can lead you off course without you even knowing it. This is not just an emotional issue, but about self-respect, about your ability to maintain your sense of self and not let the negative actions of others devalue you. I say this not because I want you to live in doubt or fear, but because I want you to be able to clearly identify the signs that you might never notice unless they are pointed out. In fact, in unhealthy relationships, you'll find yourself gradually accepting things you shouldn't accept. These are the times when you feel like you have to sacrifice too much, give up too much, just to maintain a relationship that is actually stripping away the real values within you. And these signs are not always obvious. Sometimes they are just sweet words, but behind them are subtle manipulation tactics that you may not immediately realize. I am not saying this to make you fearful, but I want you to truly understand that a relationship is not just about feelings, it's also about protecting yourself. You need to learn how to recognize when you are being manipulated, when you are being put into a situation you don't want, and the most important thing is knowing when to let go and walk away, even though that decision may be difficult. A relationship is not a place for you to sacrifice your values. If you have to change too much of yourself just to please the other person, that's when you need to stop and ask yourself if you're trading too much. A man who truly deserves you will not ask you to change who you are, nor will he ask you to adjust yourself to suit him. If he loves you, he will accept you for who you are. A relationship is a partnership between two people, not a transformation of someone's essence. I want you to understand that everyone has value, and when you accept actions and words that harm your self-worth, you are gradually losing yourself. This may not happen immediately, but over time it will slowly make you lose your confidence, lose what you truly deserve. That's why you need to recognize these signs early on, because when you realize them too late, it will already be too late. You cannot change the past, but you can change how you perceive and act in the future. None of us should accept a life full of suffering just because of an unhealthy relationship. You deserve a love that helps you grow, a love that makes you become a better version of yourself every day. And if you are in a relationship that doesn't offer you that, remember, you can always walk away and find a more deserving relationship. Remember, strength doesn't just come from the ability to work hard, but from the ability to protect yourself, to recognize clear signs, and to have the courage to act. No one can decide for you, but you are the one who decides how much you value yourself in any relationship. You need to pay attention to these phrases because they are not just ordinary words, but clear signs of a manipulation tactic. This is not just an emotional issue, but a bigger battle, the battle to protect yourself and your self-esteem. We all have a sensitivity level, an internal warning system, and you cannot ignore the signals you receive. If you continue to let these phrases repeat in your relationship, you will start losing your self-awareness, losing the sense of your true worth. I'm not saying that you need to become suspicious of everything, but caution is essential. These phrases are not just a lack of respect. They are tactics designed to break down your defense system, making you feel like you're wrong, when in reality, you are not. Those who use these tactics don't care about your emotions. They only care about maintaining control over you, making you lose the ability to properly assess what you truly need. A man who truly cares about you will never say that you are too sensitive or too fragile. If he loves you, he will understand that your feelings are an important part of who you are, and he will seek to understand and respect them, not try to deny or devalue them. When a man tells you that you're too sensitive, he is not just denying your feelings, but also invading the defense system you've built throughout your life. This is a clear sign that he does not care about how you feel, but just wants you to change to suit his comfort. Think about this for a moment. If you allow such phrases to exist in your relationship, You are allowing someone else to control not just your actions, but your emotions. You will gradually start doubting yourself, asking yourself whether your emotions are truly too much, and whether you are bothering others with your very natural feelings. This is a subtle process, an invisible battle taking place in your mind, making you a puppet in the hands of emotional manipulators. I know, you might think that these phrases are not that serious, just casual words that many men say. But the truth is, when you let these phrases pass by without reacting, you are unknowingly aiding that subtle manipulation. You will not only start to see these phrases as normal, but you will gradually accept them as part of your life. This will not only ruin your relationship, but also make you lose yourself. Therefore, you must identify them right from the start. Don't let them become part of the reality of your life. Don't let yourself become someone who depends on these hurtful words. Understand that true love never asks you to change yourself to please someone else. True love is respect, acceptance, and mutual support in growing and becoming the best version of yourself. These words are not just disrespect, they are signs of subtle manipulation, and if you're not alert, they will make you lose yourself. A truly valuable relationship is one that gives you strength, freedom, and the ability to express yourself without worrying about being judged or criticized. When a man loves you, he will create a space where you can express yourself fully without fearing criticism for your emotions. He will want you to be stronger and more confident, not smaller and more easily adjusted to his desires. So don't let these words pass without reacting. What you allow into your life can determine everything. You deserve a relationship that not only helps you grow, but also honors your worth and emotions. You deserve respect, love, and understanding, not manipulation. Be strong and know your worth because you absolutely deserve the best. Language carries energy. It's not just the words you hear, but how those words affect you, your emotions, and your presence in this world. When I say this, I am not just referring to specific phrases. I am talking about how words can either create or break a relationship, a belief, or even your future. Language doesn't just convey information, it carries intentions, hidden emotions, and goals that you might not immediately recognize, but are quietly influencing you every day. When you receive words from a man, you are not just hearing what he says. You are feeling the energy behind those words. That's why a seemingly harmless phrase can make you feel excited or make you feel bad about yourself, even when you're not sure why. Words are not just informational signals. They are an energy flow passing from one person to another. And this, you need to be aware of, is not always beneficial to you. There have been many times I've clearly felt that words can change the course of everything. In important decisions, words can be the deciding factor in success or failure. I've learned to pay attention to what others say and what they don't say. Words can build trust, but they can also bring everything down in an instant. Especially in relationships, when a man says words he thinks are normal, he may not realize that they are transmitting negative and manipulative signals. That is the danger you need to recognize and face. When a man tells you that you are too sensitive, he is not just talking about your emotions, he is transmitting energy that lowers your value. That statement is not just a comment on a specific reaction you have shown, it is a tactic designed to make you doubt yourself. From that point on, you begin to question whether your emotions are truly reasonable, whether you are overreacting, and at this moment, the negative energy from this phrase starts affecting you, making you feel disrespected and lacking confidence. Language carries energy, and when these phrases repeat, you gradually lose the ability to distinguish between your feelings and the feelings that others try to impose on you. When a man tells you that you are too sensitive, he is sending an implicit message, one you cannot ignore. You are not strong enough to face what I throw at you. This can make you shrink, stop expressing your true emotions, and gradually lose the freedom to express yourself. Words can weaken you without you realizing it. You are not only hurt emotionally, but you are also affected in your ability to uphold your values. When a man says that you are too sensitive, he is testing your consistency. Will you give up your feelings to make him comfortable? Will you turn yourself into someone else to fit his desires? Or will you stand firm and protect yourself? In relationships, when you don't recognize the negative energy from words, you will start to see yourself change, not in a positive way, but in a way you don't even notice. You will gradually become unclear about what you truly want, and your sense of self will blur. These seemingly simple words can make you lose the ability to recognize yourself clearly and completely. Therefore, you need to identify and pay attention to language. Don't let vague phrases, words that seem harmless, make you lose your self-awareness and self-esteem. You are not a tool to be used and manipulated by others. The words others say will always carry an energy, and you have the right to choose whether to accept them. Remember, language is not just communication, but a part of the energy you communicate with the world. Learn to recognize it and protect yourself, because only when you protect yourself can you protect everything around you. You don't have to compromise, you don't have to change yourself to please others. Don't let anyone define you in an unfair way. If you feel that someone's words are weakening you, then that's a sign for you to stand up and protect yourself. Choosing a life partner is a decision that cannot be taken lightly, as it not only affects your emotions, but also profoundly impacts every aspect of your life. Every person you choose will bring opportunities and challenges, affecting how you see the world, how you face difficulties, and even how you perceive yourself. I have learned that relationships are not just about love, but also about making the right choice, about long-term collaboration in building a sustainable future. And when you choose the right person, you are not only building a healthy relationship, but also creating a solid foundation for all other areas of your life. Your life partner is not just a companion in love, but an essential part of your life strategy. When you choose the right person, you are creating an environment where you can grow, innovate, and truly become the best version of yourself. I know that the environment around us has a tremendous impact on how we think and act. A right partner will help you grow, encourage you to push your limits, and break through barriers you never thought possible. On the other hand, a wrong partner can drag you down, wasting your time, energy, and resources on things that don't matter. As you know, this applies not only to romantic relationships, but also affects how you work, how you make decisions, and how you view yourself in difficult situations. Your life partner will influence how you act every day, from making major decisions to the smallest details in daily life. If you are in a relationship that doesn't support your growth, you are wasting your time and resources in a situation that cannot move forward. Every minute spent in that relationship is a minute you can never get back, a minute you can't devote to things that truly add value to you and those around you. I understand the importance of choosing the right life partner. When I started my companies, I always had to make crucial decisions about choosing companions, people who would share my vision and mission. Similarly, in love, you need to choose someone who can walk with you, someone who not only looks at the present, but can also see your potential in the future. Every decision in your relationship is a choice for your future, and every person you choose will have a significant impact on the journey you take. When you choose the right life partner, you will feel a deep connection, not just emotionally, but also intellectually and in terms of vision. This is the person who helps you see opportunities you may never have noticed. The right partner will not just agree with every decision you make, but will encourage you to see things from a different perspective, helping you find ways to optimize your potential. Together, you will grow stronger, both personally and professionally. So choosing a life partner is not a simple decision, but a long-term strategy with a powerful impact on what you can achieve in life. Your life partner is not just someone you love, but someone who helps you create a sustainable future, a future you can build on strong and sound foundations. When you choose the right companion, you not only enhance your ability to achieve personal goals, but also enrich the journey you are on. Remember that every choice you make has a long-term impact on what you can achieve. Choose a life partner with vision, understanding, and a clear future strategy. Never choose based on temporary emotions or fleeting reasons. Make sure the person you choose is someone who can walk with you throughout the long journey and help you overcome the challenges you will face in the future. When you choose the right person, you not only create a sustainable love relationship, but also open up bigger opportunities for yourself and those you love. When a man tells you that you're too sensitive, it is not an innocent comment, but a subtle tactic to manipulate you. That statement is not just a judgment of your emotions, but also a way for him to devalue your feelings and take control of the conversation. This is not a meaningless remark, but a clear sign that he does not respect your feelings and is testing your self-awareness. We all have emotions, and every emotion has value. When a man says, "You're too sensitive," he is indirectly denying the existence and value of those emotions. This is a subtle, yet dangerous manipulation tactic, because it not only makes you feel bad about yourself, but also makes you begin to doubt your own natural feelings. You'll start asking yourself whether you're feeling wrong, whether your emotions are too strong or too much for the situation. When you begin to question your own feelings, you've already started being manipulated. If you stop and think for a moment, you will realize that a man who truly cares for you would never say such a thing. He would not judge or criticize, but would try to understand and respect your feelings. A man who loves you would want to know why you feel that way, would try to listen and understand, rather than make you feel that your feelings are wrong or unreasonable. He would not ask you to change your emotions to make him more comfortable, but would instead be willing to adjust his approach to create a space where both of you can discuss and share without being judged. What's notable here is that when a man tells you that you're too sensitive, it's not just denying your feelings, but also showing a lack of respect for you. Yes, it's disrespect. He is not only denying your feelings, but also not respecting your ability to feel. When you hear this phrase, you not only feel hurt, but also feel as if you are being forced to change yourself to please him. You may even begin to think that you shouldn't express your feelings anymore because you fear being criticized or being seen as too much. But the truth is, your emotions are an inseparable part of who you are. They are natural reactions to what you are going through, and you have the right to feel them honestly. Emotions are not something you can completely control, and they are not something you need to change just because a man doesn't want to face them. On the contrary, your emotions are your strength. They are guiding signals, helping you recognize what matters to you, what makes you feel good or bad. By listening to and respecting your emotions, you will be able to understand yourself better and understand what you need in a relationship. When a man says you're too sensitive, he is conducting an experiment. Will you be willing to give up your emotions to make him feel comfortable? Will you lower yourself and voluntarily withdraw from your true emotions to please him? This is a test of control and manipulation, and if you don't recognize it, you will fall into a trap of disrespect and loss of self-control. Remember, a man who truly cares for you will never ask you to change yourself to fit his needs. He will understand that your emotions are a part of you, and he will respect them, not by forcing you to calm them down, but by learning how to interact with you in a way that makes you feel heard and respected. A man who loves you will not tell you to stop being so sensitive, but instead, he will try to understand why you feel that way and work with you to solve the issues at hand. The important thing is, you should never change yourself just because someone cannot face your emotions. You deserve someone who will stand by you, someone who will love you for who you are, not because you are trying to become someone else. Your emotions are yours, and they are valuable. Don't let anyone make you doubt them. When a man tells you, "I'm just telling the truth," especially when it's accompanied by a harsh or insensitive comment, you need to be cautious. This is not just a simple truth, but a subtle tactic used to justify cruel or disrespectful behavior. This phrase is not a lie about the truth, but a way to deceive you, making you believe that rudeness and hurtfulness are part of being truthful. But what you need to understand is the truth is not always accompanied by pain, and sincerity is never an excuse to hurt others. This is a highly dangerous emotional manipulation tactic. The man using this phrase is trying to convince you that his cruel actions are justified because it's the truth. In reality, this is a form of subtle abuse cloaked under the guise of truth. He is not only disrespecting you, but also intentionally making you feel guilty for being hurt. This is extremely dangerous because it makes you start thinking that you are weak or overly sensitive for reacting to harmful words. A man who truly cares about you will never use the truth as a tool to cause harm. The truth may be painful, but it should not be used to provoke hurt. If someone truly loves you, they will choose to express the truth with respect, sincerity, and care. Difficult conversations are necessary in any relationship, but they should be conducted in a loving context, not to break your self-esteem. When a man says, "I'm just telling the truth," you need to understand that he is not just justifying his behavior, but also trying to make you feel that you have no right to demand politeness and respect. He is trying to make you believe that asking for a sincere and respectful conversation is unnecessary. This is not only wrong, but also dangerous. You deserve a man who is willing to face the truth fairly, not someone who uses the truth to justify cruel words. The truth is not always easy to hear, I understand that, but the truth must be spoken with a purpose, not to cause harm, but to build. A man with true love will not try to trample you under the guise of truth. He will seek to bring positive change, address the issues without making you feel attacked or diminished. Sincerity must be shown through his choice of words, through his attitude, and through the care he demonstrates toward you. When someone says, "I'm just telling the truth," while hurting you, he is using the truth as a tool to control you. He wants you to accept that hurt as part of loving each other. And that's where the mistake lies. A relationship is not a place where you have to accept painful and insensitive words because it's the truth. You have the right to demand respect, listening, and care. When in love, the truth must be presented carefully, with respect and love. The important thing is you must realize that a man who truly loves you will never intentionally make you feel small just because he thinks it's the truth. He will understand that love is not an excuse for cruel behavior. If the truth cannot be spoken without causing harm, then perhaps his way of speaking and approach is wrong. You should never feel guilty for being hurt by cruel words because you have the right to ask for sincerity, to be presented with respect and kindness. I want you to understand that a man who truly loves you will never use the truth as a weapon to hurt you. A relationship should be a place where both people can grow, support, and love each other, not a place where you have to endure hurtful words for some foolish reason. Always remember that love is not about forgiving cruel behavior, and the truth is not an excuse for toxic action. Choosing a life partner is not just about seeking attraction or potential. You must look for someone who can face the truth fairly, someone who can speak the truth without making you feel pain. That is the person who will protect your heart and soul, not someone who will exploit the truth to hurt you. Make sure you never have to accept a truth that comes with cruelty. You deserve a love that provides safety, understanding, and true respect. When a man tells you that you're controlling, it's not just a comment, but a tactic to reduce your demands and standards. This is a form of subtle gaslighting designed to make you doubt your reasonable needs and desires. When he calls you controlling for setting boundaries or requesting proper behavior in a relationship, he is not only judging your actions, but also devaluing you as a person with the right to self-determination and self-respect. In reality, when you express a need or desire for respect, you are not controlling anyone. You are simply protecting yourself, safeguarding what you need to feel safe and loved in the relationship. Boundaries are not about control, they're about protection. The requests you make are necessary for you to maintain your self-esteem and happiness. If a man cannot accept these boundaries, it is a clear sign that he does not respect you as you deserve. In fact, men who call you controlling when you ask for something simple, like him keeping his promises, respecting your personal space, or spending quality time together, are people who don't want to take responsibility in the relationship. They don't want to admit that a relationship requires balance and cooperation, but only want things to go their way. They don't see your requests as part of mutual respect. They see them as an intrusion into their freedom. A man who loves you will understand that a relationship is not a place to restrict his freedom, but a place where both people build and respect the boundaries they have agreed upon. These boundaries are not conditions for control or coercion, but the foundation for a healthy relationship to grow. A man who loves you will never call you controlling when you ask for basic things like honesty, respect, and equal participation in the relationship. On the contrary, he will understand that these are reasonable and necessary requests to maintain a sustainable relationship. When he calls you controlling, ask yourself, is he avoiding responsibility? Does he want to maintain his personal comfort without the commitment of the relationship? Does he want you to compromise so his life is easier regardless of the harm it may cause you? Sometimes this statement is not a real criticism of your actions, but a way for him to ease the truth that he cannot or does not want to face reasonable requests in the relationship. And this is not only a sign of immaturity, but also a lack of respect for your feelings and needs. Choosing the right life partner means choosing someone who can respect you, understanding that in a relationship, both parties need to work together to maintain and grow. Mutual respect is not something that naturally exists without effort. It requires each person in the relationship to understand the needs and limits of the other and together make reasonable agreements. If the man in your life calls you controlling just because you set a few reasonable requests, it's clear that he has no intention of building a fair and respectful relationship. Therefore, recognize this sign and know that you are not wrong in asking to be respected. The feeling of safety in a relationship, being heard and understood, is something you fully deserve. A mature man who truly loves you will never call you controlling when you set boundaries. He will cherish your requests because they are a way to maintain a healthy and sustainable relationship. A relationship without respect and clear boundaries is a relationship at risk of falling apart. Remember, you deserve a man who understands that love is not about compromise or self-sacrifice, but about respect, companionship, and mutual care. When you can set boundaries without fear of being criticized or being called controlling, that is when you know you are on the right path. Love is about protection and building, not diminishing or controlling, and you have the right to ask to be loved in the way you deserve. When a man tells you, "I'm not ready for a relationship," but at the same time behaves as though you are in a relationship, it's time to question his true motives. This is not a sincere admission, but a tactic to keep all the benefits of a relationship while avoiding any real commitment. He wants you there when he needs you, but doesn't want to take responsibility or make a long-term commitment. This is emotional manipulation disguised as honesty and freedom. Honesty and freedom. If he says he's not ready for a relationship, but then spends time with you, shares intimate moments, involves you in his personal life, it's clear that what he truly wants is a mix of freedom and all the benefits that a relationship brings. He may make you feel important and special, but he's not actually committed. He wants the stability without the responsibility. This is not only unfair, but also disrespectful to you and the relationship you expect. When a man truly loves you and wants to be with you, there is no ambiguity or indecision. He will be clear about his intentions and actions. People who truly love each other don't need to question whether they are ready for a relationship. They are already there, ready, and will do everything to maintain and grow that relationship. If he cannot commit clearly, it reflects not only uncertainty about his feelings, but also that he doesn't value you as you deserve. This also shows a deep lack of respect for your feelings. When a man makes such a statement, he is sending the message that you don't deserve his full commitment. In reality, it's not about you or the relationship, it's about his selfishness. He wants all the benefits of a relationship, closeness, care, attention, but doesn't want to take responsibility for what comes with a real relationship: stability, honesty, and long-term commitment. You don't have to wait for someone to change their mind about the relationship if they are not truly ready. You deserve a man who not only says he wants to be with you, but also acts in ways that clearly show that commitment. Conversations about not being ready are just tricks to maintain control without responsibility. The man you choose must be mature enough to understand that love is not a game, and a relationship is not a place to seek comfort without commitment. Think about this. Lasting relationships are built on clarity and commitment. When someone says they're not ready for a relationship but acts as if they are in one, they not only lack commitment but also disrespect you. True love requires clarity of purpose and mutual direction. A sincere man will not make you feel like you're a temporary choice or an experiment. He will clarify his goals and take actions to build a solid relationship. Never let yourself fall into such ambiguity. Your relationship deserves to be built on the foundation of clear commitment, where both parties can see a shared future. If he truly wants you, he won't need to say that he's not ready. He will be ready from the start, and will show that through his actions. The choice is yours. You can accept this ambiguity and uncertainty, or you can decide that you deserve a real relationship, where love is built on commitment and clarity. Choose a man who not only loves you, but is also ready to act, to build a shared future with you. When you enter a relationship, you deserve a partner who is ready to be with you, not just in the happy moments, but also through the challenges and difficulties. When a man tells you, "You've changed, but not for the better," it's not just an innocent comment, but a direct attack on your growth and development. This statement not only denies the efforts you've made to improve yourself, but it's also a subtle tactic to pull you back into an older version of yourself, the version that he finds more comfortable and easier to control. This is a form of manipulation designed to make you feel that your personal growth is a mistake, that becoming a better person is unacceptable. And if you don't recognize it, it can strip you of your strength and self-confidence. Don't mistake it. Change and growth are not always easy for others to accept. When you change, you are not just changing personally, but you are creating a new view of yourself, of what you deserve and what you want in life. And not everyone is ready to accept that. A man who truly loves you will understand that change is a natural part of life, especially when you are trying to become the best version of yourself. He won't see that change as a threat, but as an opportunity to grow together and build a stronger, healthier relationship. But when he says you've changed but not for the better, he is truly showing a lack of understanding and respect for you. He doesn't see your change as a positive step, but as a change that harms the relationship. This reflects his stubbornness and unwillingness to change himself. Instead of recognizing your growth as necessary, he feels uncomfortable and wants you to return to the old version, the one he finds easier to manage. Clearly, your change is not for the sake of pleasing anyone. You don't need to change yourself just because a man can't handle your growth. Every time you change, you are building a life that aligns with your values and dreams. You are improving yourself, not just to meet someone else's needs, but to live a life true to your goals and ideals. If he can't accept that change, maybe he's the one who needs to change, not you. A man who truly loves you will never want you to return to your old self. He will love your growth and your strength. He will see your maturity as an advantage for both of you, not something to fear or avoid. When you grow, you don't just become stronger, you also make the relationship stronger, because you will be able to face challenges, communicate clearly, and understand your value more than ever. When a man says you've changed but not for the better, he is not just criticizing you but also criticizing your personal growth process. This is not love, it's possession. He wants you to do what he wants, to stay in the state he feels comfortable with. But the important thing is that you must realize that your change is for you, not for anyone else. You don't need to change to please anyone. You change to become a better person, to live a meaningful life, and achieve the goals you've set. Don't let statements like this make you doubt yourself. Instead of feeling guilty for your changes, be proud of what you've achieved. Maturity is not bad. It's part of the learning and growing process. If a man truly loves you, he will love this process of change. He will encourage you to grow and will walk with you on that journey, not judge or reject it. Finally, remember that change is inevitable in life. It is necessary for you to become the best version of yourself. If someone can't accept you when you change, that's a clear sign that the relationship doesn't provide true value. A relationship is where both people can grow and support each other, not a place to stifle each other's change and development. Your change is your freedom, and you deserve a man who will love you even when you change, because he understands that this change brings value not just to you, but to the relationship as well. Respecting yourself in a relationship is not just about emotional defense, but also about safeguarding your self-esteem and self-worth. You cannot expect those around you to always protect you if you don't know how to protect yourself. And I want you to understand clearly that protecting yourself is not selfish or narrow-minded, but a necessary action to maintain health in any relationship. No one deserves to sacrifice self-respect just to please others. When you realize that you deserve to be loved and respected, you will not allow anyone to hurt or manipulate your emotions. The most important thing you need to understand is that in a relationship, you are not the only one with rights. Both people in the relationship have the right to demand respect, honesty, and care. If you always put the needs of others above your own, you will quickly feel tired and defeated. That's why protecting yourself is not only your right, but also your duty to yourself in your relationship. You need to understand that in any relationship, setting boundaries and demanding respect is not wrong, but a necessary act of self-preservation. When you realize that someone is manipulating your emotions, making you feel inferior or unworthy, it's time to take action. Don't sit quietly and accept that hurt. Don't let irresponsible words or disrespectful actions become normal. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, you're setting a precedent for that behavior to continue. You can't change others, but you can change how you react and face those people. You can choose not to let them invade your emotional and mental space. Remember that every time you accept something you don't agree with, every time you stay silent in the face of an invasion, you're setting a precedent. This doesn't only affect you, but also your relationship. You can't expect your relationship to become strong and healthy if you don't protect it from the beginning. And if a man truly loves you, he will never ask you to ignore what you feel is wrong. He won't want you to sacrifice yourself to maintain the relationship. On the contrary, he will want you to be strong and stand up for yourself, because that's how respect and true love are maintained. Protecting yourself also means knowing when to say no. Saying no is not easy, especially when you're dealing with someone you love. However, rejecting what's undeserving is an important step in protecting yourself. You can't keep accepting bad things just because you're afraid of losing a relationship. If a relationship makes you feel hurt, manipulated, or forced to change yourself, then it's not worth sacrificing too much for. You have the right to ask for basic things in a relationship: respect, understanding, and care. Protecting yourself is not just about negative situations. It's also a strategy for maintaining a healthy relationship. When you protect yourself, you also protect the relationship from negative elements. You won't let bad habits, manipulative behaviors, or disrespect pass without response. And by doing so, you're showing your strength and confidence, which creates an environment where both you and your partner can grow and be happy together. Finally, you must understand that you're not fighting alone in the relationship. Protecting yourself doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself or refuse help from others, but you need to be self-sufficient and fully aware of your value. You must believe that you deserve a healthy and strong relationship where love is built on respect and sharing, not manipulation and control. Remember, when you protect yourself, you're not just protecting your heart and soul, but also the relationship and future you desire. Protecting yourself is the first step to having a happy life and relationship. When you understand that you have the right to demand respect and never let yourself be manipulated, you will find the strength to live the life you deserve. And when you stand up for yourself, you're also creating space for true love to find you.